Welcome back again, F-holes. I'm so excited to talk to you a little bit more about shifting. We explored that a few weeks ago, and I'd like to take it to the next level, where we're shifting from place to place. We're just going to get higher and higher, so buckle up. Here we go. Here's the next thing. Life is not always that simple. If only it were easy as going from first position to third position with the first finger and then all stops there. It's wonderful, plain and simple. Then you had people like Paganini screwing it up for all the rest of us in the world, and Heifetz and all these people. I'm sure there was shifting to different fingers before that, but still. We're not always going from a first finger to a first finger in a piece of music. So there are a couple of schools of thought for how we're going to shift to that new position, where that glide is going to happen. Since this is our introduction to shifting, I'm going to talk about the idea of establishing that guide finger, your anchor finger, first. More advanced shifting is going to go a couple of steps further, so we can get to that in another episode. But if you're new to shifting or just ready to refine your shifting a little bit, we're going to just start with the basic anchor finger to anchor finger, then place that next finger or series of fingers in the correct whole and half steps related to your anchor finger. So here we go. So another great idea, my favorite, is playing guitar style when I'm learning new places on my instrument. So if I'm trying to figure out a higher position, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find where that would be. I'm going to look at it and practice that glide. And then put it back on the shoulder and try that again. All right, so if we are going to go from a first finger up to a second finger, we are going to do that glide like we've practiced. And then 2 goes on the string, whether it's whole or half step in relation to that. Okay, and it's going to become so seamless that you're going to hear the glide, but that when you anchor that finger in, the second finger is going to anchor in at the same time so that you hear that arrival as being the second finger. So for example, if I'm going from a B to an E, I'm going to glide and then establish that 2. So I'm going to do slow motion first. And then I'm going to show you how it's going to actually work in context of playing a piece. So we've got our first finger. I'm going to go this way because then you can really see what's happening a little better. All right, so B up to E is going to look like this. So if I'm doing an E flat instead, it just means that I know that ahead of time. Again, know your arrival. Don't let your ear guess it. So if I'm doing an E flat, let's try that one again. Then I can double check it with my fingers to make sure that I'm really hitting exactly where I was supposed to go. Now we're going to go from B to F sharp. We're not going to do B to F natural right now because I don't want to get into that tritone thing. We've already got enough on our plate to think about the mechanics. So if I'm doing B to F sharp, okay? All right, B to G this time. So I want you to notice when I arrived up there, it wasn't just 1 and 4 somewhere in here. I had my finger pattern set up to help me establish exactly where that 4 is going to go. I had it right next to my F sharp. so that I could feel those whole and half steps and get that accuracy in there. So I hope that this gets you started on your journey of changing positions, enjoying positions, and making a really expressive sound when you shift from position to position. So that's what I think you should explore this week. Have a good time with that glissando. Make it extreme and syrupy, and then make it almost invisible. So play around with where those places are going to be. All right, so down the road, we're going to explore note reading that goes along with all of this shifting so that we can actually put it into practice. Some of my favorite books to use for this exciting journey are the Essential Elements series, the Essential Elements for Strings, book 3 in particular focuses on shifting, and I really enjoy the violin and the viola books. The way they're structured, I feel like it's very easy for my students to learn shifting and what the different positions are and note reading using that series. I personally start violins with the E string note, so I just go to page 6 on the book. Then I go back to the beginning of the book. You can use it any way you want that works for your students. So again, in a school setting, it works really beautifully with group lessons, and I really appreciate how it explores different key signatures along for the ride. So the kids are not going to just guess or play the same key signature, so they're always shifting to the same finger, all that stuff. It shakes it up, so they really have to think about, if I go and shift to my next first finger, what's my next note? Is it a half step or a whole step? Check the key signature. It's really great because it works all that in together. Some other really wonderful, especially if you have the opportunity to teach privately, Introducing the Positions by Whistler. It does not get any more exciting than that now, does it? Well, there's always Wolfhart, but let's not go there. So again, this one is so comprehensive. Look at all that good stuff. Okay, so we've got all of these studies and all of these different positions. It's beautiful. One of my all-time faves since college days, when we were student teaching at Ithaca Talent Education, they would use the Doffline method to supplement the Suzuki learning that those kids were doing. And this is really wonderful because it's so step-by-step, so focused by key, establishing really where you are in a key. But then we have duets and things that are very, very motivating for the students. Okay, as motivating as you can get with a method book, I suppose. Cellos, and I've ignored you a lot because your shifting is kind of a different beast in a lot of ways. And I'm not a cellist, but I'm going to have a cellist on an episode coming up soon so that we can really work on how this stuff applies to you more specifically. But this is a great book by Mooney, cello. It's position pieces for cello. And if you take a look, it's kind of cool how it really goes step by step with each position, where your first finger's located, what the names are, and then duets again. Yay, duets, they're the best. So I hope that you have a great time exploring that shifting and start tying it into some great learning tools that are available everywhere, online, at your local music store, J.W. Pepper. All of those places are, Shar Music, my favorite website ever. Those are some really great places to get your hands on some of these books about shifting and really get it working into your pieces. Thank you for listening to Advice for F-Holes. Please subscribe and share your comments below so we can have a great conversation.